We hope you have enjoyed these stories of Maine Coast Memorial Hospital's first 60 years, and we look forward to serving you with excellence in healthcare in the future.
My father was Edward S. O'Mara, known as Ted, and my mother was Jean Cameron Adams Hillman O'Mara. He was raised in New Haven, Connecticut. His maternal and his paternal family were full of doctors, going back to Ireland on the O'Mara side. His mother died when he was 9 of a disease that probably, or an infection that could have been saved had she had access to modern antibiotics. That was in 1920. He was not yet 10. And he was very, very good in science as well as art. He was a very creative person who felt that medicine was as much an art as a science. After the war, it just became his passion to come to Maine and start a high-quality specialized hospital that was going to serve a very wide population, but also brought for the first time to at least this part of Down East Maine a whole staff of specialists. My mother was a really very, very involved, what we would call now a development officer, but she did it for free. There was no, on that side of the hospital, there was no specialization, and so incredibly dedicated people in the community, of which my mother was very much a part, were the ones who entertained and met with potential donors and had doctors who my father was interested in recruiting come and stay at our house. And it was just an all-consuming part of life for both my mother and my father. In spite of his work as both a chief of medicine and practicing physician and everything else that he was doing, he also made house calls. I have wonderful memories of going out on the Sunbeam with him to the islands where he would make house calls. I remember sitting in someone's kitchen when I was a little girl, having homemade donuts while my father was, attending to a patient in the household. So that, on top of everything else, was a very wonderful part of my, memory of being a doctor's daughter. My mother had wonderful, wonderful care here during the last years of her life. My boys have been in and out of the emergency room for different, broken bones and things when they're visiting in the summer. So that's always been a great source of, pride and a great way to remember my father. It was always wonderful to set foot in this hospital and realize why it was here, that he was a big part of that.